storm, man.
Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
All right, so unfortunately we had to take a week off to deal with some family matters, but we're back with the Mandalorian double shot. That's right, we're going to talk about Chapter 10 and Chapter 11. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
I'm doing all right, Joe. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. More Mandalorian to talk about, man.
Yes, Mandalorian. Good stuff.
Yeah, I can't be upset about that.
Right.
One thing I want to talk about, though. Mando Mondays.
Yeah.
We talked about this at the beginning of, this season of The Mandalorian.
Right.
And we were kind of curious on where that was going. Was this just going to be a merchandise thing, or were they going to start, getting into the meat of the show?
Right. That was my hope. And I have to say, I haven't had the opportunity, because just to put it out there, I was the one with the family stuff. So I haven't had the opportunity to dig in since the very first episode. So what's your take?
Well, wah, wah, wah.
Oh, no.
It's all merchandise, man.
Of course.
It's all merchandise. So apparently there's going to be a crap ton of merchandise coming this season because they're going to do this for 7 more weeks.
Excellent.
There's 6 more weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
Math.
Wow. So I guess the question is going to be is, where are you going to be able to find this merchandise?
Considering most of it's from Hasbro, you won't.
Oh. Gotcha. Well, yeah.
Most of this stuff's supposed to be found at your local retailers.
Okay.
Some of this stuff is online stuff.
Gotcha.
But like the figures and the games and things like that, it's supposed to be found at your local retailers.
Okay.
I'm not hopeful.
No. This is just past track record we're talking here. That's
Yeah. When it comes to distribution, Hasbro sucks.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Enough about that.
Enough about that. Yes.
Yeah, I could go down the Hasbro rabbit hole
Yeah.
real easily and air my grievances. But we all know my grievances. So, Chapter 10, The Passenger, first episode we're going to talk about tonight. Well, hot take. What you think, Doug?
Okay, so overall, it seemed like this was an episode that kind of was just to get us from where we were to where we need to be, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? At first I was left feeling like there wasn't a whole lot of meat to it, but I got a feeling that like some of the stuff is gonna factor in a little later, maybe. So,
Really?
well, I don't know. This show has, I'm just getting a funny feeling that this show's going to kind of do that. Call back to things that you thought were done. Just have that feeling.
Yeah, I could see that. I will say as an online gamer.
Yep.
These first 2 shows felt side questy.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's like, okay, I have this overall quest I need to do, but here, this is going to send me here. This is going to send me here. It's side quests, right? It's quests you're doing along the way to fill time until you get to the main thing, which, look, this is an 8-episode season, right?
Yep.
So if you just get right into the nitty gritty, then it's, how do you fill 8 episodes?
Right.
So there's gonna be some of this. There's gonna be some.
Yeah, I do see what you're saying though, because you can kind of like say, okay, we've had our Crate Dragon side quest, and now we've had our Horde of Spiders side quest.
Right.
So, yeah, time to level up.
Right. Right. He's just getting skills because, I mean, presumably he's going to have to be dealing with other Mandalorians and Jedi in the future. So
exactly,
might as well level up on some Crate Dragons and some spiders.
Right.
But, I gotta say, I mean, we do nitpick this a little more because it is live action, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
totally.
we've never made this comment about animation. And this is me critiquing myself here for the comment I just made.
Well, I don't know. I think some of the times that we've talked about some of the animated stuff, I think we've kind of gone down that road a little bit. When they're dealing with stuff that didn't really pertain to the main arc of the shows, especially in Resistance, things like that.
Right. Well, Resistance was set up to be linear.
True.
Whereas, I mean, Rebels, same, right? Set up to be linear.
Yeah.
Clone Wars didn't have that setup. They never said this was going to be linear. We assume it's going to be linear.
I was going to say, but so far it's kind of been that way.
Oh, it's been absolutely a linear story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I the first season didn't veer off of what was the main topic of the story, right? Which was, okay, he intervened. Now the bounty hunters were after him. That led him back to...
Right.
So you had this story that was never veering. It stayed on topic the whole time. Whereas this season, this episode's... the last episode, you knew this was a stop in furthering the story. He was looking for a Mandalorian. There was rumors of a Mandalorian. He found the Marshal.
Right.
This episode, they're leaving there, going to the next step, where there's a Mandalorian, supposedly.
Right.
Or other Mandalorians. And they get sidetracked.
Yes.
Because they get intercepted by Dave Filoni.
Yeah, right. Yes, that is funny.
Which brings us to the answer to the question we had when watching the trailer. At first we thought, remember first look at the first trailer? We're like, oh wow,
yeah.
Going into battle with some X-Wings.
Right, yeah.
On his side.
Yeah.
And then the next one is like, Razor Crest, stand down. And you're like, hold on.
Yep, exactly. So
yeah, they weren't on his side.
They weren't on his side. They were chasing him down, but in the end, it all kind of worked out.
Yeah, before we get to the end.
Yeah, I know.
This interaction with the X-Wings, I kind of dug this.
As far as what?
As far as putting some realism into it, right? Like it was a very realistic exchange.
Okay. So, okay, you're saying realistic exchange. I got to be honest, what the exchange between the X-Wings and the Razor Crest was, to me, was it triggered, in my mind, exactly what Cara Dune was telling Din Djarin about why she had to leave. Because she didn't want to be a cop, basically. And
agreed.
That's what these X-Wings were being.
Agreed. But it was a very realistic exchange as far as, okay, you're entering New Republic territory. You don't have a beacon going. You don't have,
Right.
So, of course, the cops show up.
Exactly.
So I thought that was a cool exchange from that perspective. It added some depth to the universe. Right?
Right.
Like, these are things you could see happening.
Yeah. Right. So we
It's
have
not all.
we have a fledgling new republic, trying to establish itself, and they kind of had to switch gears from being a rebellion, and this is kind of what you got now.
Right. But I like the fact that they didn't immediately go hostile with him.
True.
So there was an exchange. Look, you don't have a beacon on. Well, I'm pre-Empire. I'm exempt.
Right.
Not anymore. That whole exchange.
Yep.
It's like, wow, this is different.
It was your tail lights out is what it was.
But it wasn't Cloud City. You're in the wrong space. Okay, here's some shots across the bow.
True.
Look, I'm trying to see Lando Calrissian.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
It was a lot less hostile of an exchange.
Agreed.
Until, he sent the ping. And then you see him lock into attack position.
Oh, yes. I got to say, that was something that was pretty cool, I thought, too. Seeing that from the Razor Crest point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the equivalent to the flashers going on the police car.
Right. And then I like, they ask the question and he pauses. And there's an extended pause here.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, nope. So I thought that was an enjoyable exchange.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed watching.
It was good. I did like it.
I even like the, hey, can you switch over to channel 2?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, something bad's going to happen at that point.
You could see it. Like, I'm amazed at the body language of Pedro in the suit.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can't see facial expressions. So you don't know what he's thinking. But his body language is just outstanding.
I have to agree. Okay, so I'm going to jump to another part because you're bringing the body language up. The very beginning, where he falls into the trap set by the other bounty hunters.
Mm-hmm.
And he sends the one little guy flying in the air. The child looks up to him. He just kind of shrugs. Oh, my gosh. That was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing was... oh, no, here. Oh, fine. Here you go. Take it.
Yeah.
Which I gotta say, we talked about, brutality in this show.
Right.
Man, when that guy plopped, it's like, oh, he did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love how
hard plop.
The child looks at him and kind of makes that noise, like almost chastising him a little bit. He's like, do what you got to do.
Yeah, it almost looked like he's like, really?
I know.
He had it coming.
Right. So, I guess, my initial response was that, this was just an episode to get us from where we were to where we're going. But it does have those elements to it that, have made us all love this show,
Right. I gotta say, since you took us back.
Okay.
I kind of overshot this because we got right to the exchange with the X-Wing.
Right.
The beginning was when everything takes off. The beginning was kind of easy to forget, but yet not.
Yeah, it's almost like it should have been tacked on to the last episode.
Right. It was very easy to move on from that beginning.
Yes.
Because the beginning was the wrap up from the prior episode. And then you move on to when he leaves Tatooine.
Right.
But I gotta say, when they pulled that rope up and caught him with
Yep.
the wreckage, with the speeder bike.
Yep.
And he ignites that jetpack and turns himself around with all that wreckage flying by him.
Uh-huh.
Dude, that was some badass imagery right there.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Like, Boba Fett fans, eat your heart out.
Oh, yeah.
This is what this dude could have been doing.
Exactly. Yeah. Apparently, Boba Fett never practiced with that jetpack.
Apparently, that jetpack had a manufacturer's defect.
Right.
Because it was able to be used twice.
Twice, yeah.
But it had a pretty bitchin' rocket attached to it, so.
That is true.
So later on, this episode becomes target of a little bit of controversy.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we meet what is being called the Frog Lady.
Right.
I believe even the IMDb, yes, Frog Lady.
Okay.
Couldn't even name the character.
Oh, this is Star Wars. That character will have a name and a whole backstory before we know it.
Right, probably before this episode's released.
Right.
But yes, Frog Lady. Well, her eggs.
Yeah.
And the child's appetite.
Yeah, I was going to say, apparently those eggs are pretty tasty.
Well, I got to say, we've already seen it established. He's got a taste for frogs.
Yes, this is true.
So, frog eggs, I mean, that's delicacy, right?
Yeah.
But this has come under fire.
I can only imagine.
Because the child is eating the eggs of a fictionary endangered species.
What?
Yeah.
Endangered species?
That's what they say on Twitter.
Okay. I don't think it said that.
No, the show didn't say that at all.
Okay.
Now, the family line.
Right.
So their family line is on the verge of becoming extinct.
Right.
Their family line.
Yeah.
Not their species. Apparently there's other giant frogs out there that are still alive.
Yeah, you could only assume as much. Big galaxy, right?
Yes.
So And okay, so I don't know, man. The child is the child, right? It's a child. When it comes to, man, those things are good. Like, this is a kid in a cookie jar kind of situation you got going here.
Oh, it was totally a kid in a cookie jar situation. It was. It is one of those things that it is okay. You take that into account. This is the last of their family line.
Right.
This is their only chance for them to go forward. There is some shock value in him eating the eggs.
Sure. But I don't know. I
thought it turned into comedic gold.
It was. That's the way I saw it too.
Because when he's reaching over in that hot spring there, when she's warming them up and warming herself up.
Yep.
And he's reaching over and Mando's like, no.
Exactly.
And he's reaching over like, I helps.
And then what's he do? That's the part that cracks you up. Then he goes and finds himself a spider to eat. Opens up the spider egg, is like, well, that's tasty. Okay.
Oh crap.
Yep.
apparently that was the trigger to wake them all up.
Right.
Oh, I gotta say, the sound effects for the child this episode,
Oh yeah.
way more vocalization.
I think they're leading us somewhere here. I think we're gonna hear him talking before too long. I don't know.
Because even when he was letting Mando know that Frog Lady had wandered off, there's vocalization there.
Oh yeah.
You know, how long ago did she leave? And he's making noises.
Right.
And there's these cries and these coos and these whines. It's like,
Yep.
there was a ton of vocalization from the child this episode.
Yeah, totally. I think I don't know if it'll be this season, but I got a feeling we will hear the child speak, and that's going to be another milestone for everybody watching the evolution of this character.
So then we see the kind of situation Mando's in, right? He's doing bad things as far as the law goes.
Right.
But in the process of doing said bad things, he does some good things along the way.
Right. Yeah.
His compassion for others, things like that. He doesn't kill for the sake of killing. You know, just because you're on a mission doesn't mean everybody has to die.
Yeah. You know, and this takes us back to that episode that got referred to here. I forget her name, but the Twi'lek woman, you know,
right,
said, remember back to whenever, like, you liked it, you know. So maybe he was worse, you know, a worse bad guy in the past, but now he's like not.
But even in this season, we've seen him, you know, not care about leaving someone to die.
True. That's true.
I mean, hell, even in this episode, he launched that little dude straight up into space and then let it fall to the ground.
Yep.
So he has no sympathy for combatants.
Right.
For targets. But if you are a bystander, not a target or a combatant, there is compassion.
Right.
So it is an interesting look into, you know, his own code, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because he wasn't ready to off Matt Lanter.
Right. That's true.
And that ended up, you know, saving him in this.
Yes. I like the fact that, because this goes right along with the whole traffic stop thing we were talking about earlier. It's like, look, I understand you did whatever X bad thing, but you did these couple good things, so in lieu of that, we're going to give you a pass. So, you know, I like that there is that discretion that they have, you know, basically don't let us catch you doing it again.
Yeah, and I like that they're establishing that dichotomy from the New Republic versus the Empire.
Right. Yeah, there would be no leniency like that from the Empire.
None.
Where is that ship going? It's an older code. I was going to let them through. Leave them to me. Yeah. You don't want that stuff going on.
I do like that, though. He's like, how about we forego the bounties and you help me repair the hull of my ship?
Yeah. Little negotiation.
Yeah, how about you fix that transponder and we won't blast you next time?
Exactly.
He's watching them leave like, well, damn.
Yep.
Yeah, the Razor Crest took quite a beating this episode.
Oh, yeah. From the trailer, we had this, we knew it was going to get beat up a bit, but man, looking at it up close here in this episode, This thing is hit bad.
Yeah, it definitely took a beating, and you know, I'm a little surprised at how bad it got beat up.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you're kind of like almost forcing yourself into a position where you got to stay somewhere for a prolonged period of time to get this thing fixed.
Right.
Or you're going to have to time jump.
Maybe, yeah. Oh. You think we'll have another 80s movie style montage of, repairing the ship again? Because we did do that in the first season.
Yeah. Maybe. They almost hinted at that this episode when he was fixing the ship, and then it was like, oh, nope, we're not going to do that.
Right.
So, yeah, it was definitely a side quest type episode.
Yes. I will say what this episode did for me is it left me excited for the next episode. You know what I'm saying? It's like there wasn't really a whole lot that no big reveals, no revelations or anything like that for the most part here, but I'm anxiously anticipating what we're going to see next. Because I think it's clear we're going to hit that water world that we saw in the trailer. And I got a feeling that's where things are going to start to get really interesting.
Right. And what I like about this episode is you don't expect stuff like this to be so clean all the time. Right? He's not going to go from this point in the mission to that point, to that point, to that point without anything going wrong.
Yeah.
And especially this character. He does not have the best of luck.
No.
I mean, we talked about his armor and how much he seems to get shot.
Oh, yeah. Happened again.
Yeah, like the beginning of the episode is like ting, 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 ting.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I better shoot back.
Exactly. Because, yeah, really, when you think about it, if it wasn't for that armor, man, this guy'd be dead. Long time ago.
Like episode 2 last
Yeah.
season. So, yeah. And there's probably a little bit of like, oh, well, I don't have to duck and roll all the time because I have this.
Exactly. Yeah. It allows you to get a little complacent, maybe. Not to put it in a negative light, but, it's like complacent or you utilize it for what it is,
Yeah, and I think in the situation he was in the beginning of this episode, I don't think it matters how good you are. That was a pretty good ambush.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you were tumbling and they were already firing.
Right.
If it wasn't for the armor, you probably don't walk away from that.
Yeah.
Unless you're Jedi, maybe.
Yeah.
Another thing this is doing is it's kind of explaining the Sabine Wren in Rebels, right?
How do you mean?
There was always the talk about how Sabine Wren seems to get out of situations like she's a Jedi.
Oh, yeah.
Well, maybe this is a Mandalorian thing.
Maybe, but I gotta say, he utilized the jetpack. Sabine Wren was making moves like that long before she ever had a jetpack.
Agreed. She was pretty agile.
Yeah. Now, granted, that's animation.
Yeah.
So we get that, but
kind of a cartoon.
Yeah.
You can take liberties in a cartoon,
Very true.
But yeah, good episode. I enjoyed it. It was funny. Think people need to calm down a little bit.
Yeah. It just from my point of view, my last word on that would be, yeah. If you think that was a horrible thing, go watch Nat Geo. That's because
it's fiction, right?
Yeah, it's fiction.
Keep in mind it's fiction.
I
understand, where your heart is, but it's fiction.
It's fiction, yeah.
And I know we get mad about fiction sometimes, but you got to pick your fights,
right?
So
that right there was, I don't know, if the child has lost his luster from anyone's point of view because of that, I don't know. I think that was a very cute comedic thing for this episode. I don't really see where there was a problem with it. So
yeah, like I said, it's fiction, right?
Right.
But at the same time, like I said, we complain about fiction all the time, and we'd be remiss if we didn't say that some of our real world experience does influence that stuff we beat on, right?
Sure.
But sometimes we have to take a step back and realize that it is fiction.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all have to do it. We've all had to check ourselves. This may be a time to check yourself and just realize it's fiction and roll with it.
Yeah, for sure.
So don't let it affect your view of the child.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, people are like, I don't know how I feel about the child anymore. It's like, really?
Yeah. See, and that's a shame, because I gotta say, in this episode, the child was more expressive. Did a lot more stuff, and I think it's a prelude for what we're gonna see in the future for the child, and I think that's gonna be really cool.
And I think it is a indication on this species. You think about, you see this and you kind of see why Yoda may have gravitated towards a swamp-like planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there is a definite carnivorous nature.
Yes.
To this species.
I gotta say, as you're talking about Yoda and thinking about the child and all the stuff that he likes to just put in his mouth, what I'm thinking of is the look on Luke's face when he takes a bite of whatever it was Yoda made him on Dagobah.
And
he took a bite.
Good food.
Good food. And Luke takes a bite. It's like, whoa. Yes.
Like, oh, this is just hot swamp water frog.
Yeah, right. Yep.
And you call that stew?
Well, seeing everything the child puts in his mouth, I can understand why Luke made that face.
But they are kind of establishing a diet for the species.
Sure, absolutely.
Something we never had for Yoda. And really, when you look at the creature and then look at the diet, it really makes sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You look at
little claws,
Yoda's teeth, right? Look at Yoda's teeth.
Yeah. Yep. Made for tearing flesh.
Like a carnivore's teeth.
Yep.
And yeah, I just hate to say it, but eggs, frogs, things like that lines up.
Yep. Well, I'm sure that the child is going to do something cute enough moving forward that everyone's going to love him again. So
he'll be in the pouch on a speeder next week, and everybody will be like, "Oh,
exactly." Yes. Yep.
So, I think the child's image will be okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Have something to add to the conversation? Or you just want to let us know how we're doing? Email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. That's the best place to get in on the action. But if social media is a little more to your liking, @The Wars and More on Twitter is always a good place to interact with us. And we're also on Facebook, facebook.com/The Wars and More. And of course, your portal to this and everything else, The Wars and More, is thewarsandmore.com.
All right, so as much as we'd love to keep talking about that, we got to move on. We got to move on to Chapter 11, The Heiress.
Yes.
Doug.
This was something else, man.
Doug. Well, we do wrap up everything we were talking about before, right?
Yeah. Right. So
we end up getting the frog lady to
her husband, right?
To her husband.
Yep. And they even call back to her, now she's frog lady babysitter. It's but so that was kind of cool. We got to see how all of that rounds out, but in the meantime, I don't even want to say it. It's
I'll say it.
Go for it.
I'll say it. Bo frickin' Katan.
Yes. That was amazing.
It was an amazing entrance.
That's for sure.
Because, man, for as much as the Mandalorian Din has done,
right?
Man, he sure gets caught off guard a lot.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about how he always gets shot.
Right. Well, this episode's no exception there, but...
No. That was willingly, though.
Yeah, I know. But I thought the same thing as he did that. Like, man, you're just jumping into the line of fire.
Well, he's already found out, like, hey, this stuff can take it.
Yeah. But yes. Bo-Katan. Dang.
Played by none other than Katie Sackhoff, the voice of Bo-Katan in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Coming in to physically take on the role in live action.
And she did this superbly.
Oh, it was fantastic. There's literally no separation.
Right.
It is a seamless transition.
Absolutely.
And in all honesty, that sets up the transition for other characters, really. Like,
oh yeah, there's no doubt. And she quite literally sets up the transition for other characters.
Yeah, quite literally.
Yes.
But correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first character from animation to make the jump, right? Not a character that's made the jump from live action to animation back to live action. This is the first character from animation to make the jump to live action.
Minus Chopper.
Minus Chopper. Okay.
As far as I'm aware, yeah. Be minus Chopper.
I'd say that in a speaking role, in a major role.
Right.
Because this is a major role for this episode. This is not a cameo.
Oh, for sure.
This is a major role for the episode. So in a major way, this is the first jump from animation to live action.
Right. And we know we are going to see this character again.
Oh, no doubt.
She's looking for the Darksaber. We know Gideon's got the Darksaber. Yeah. So,
but my point is, this, in all honesty, was probably one of the best characters to use for that first jump.
So what makes you say that?
Well, one, Bo-Katan was designed around Katie Sackhoff.
Right.
So her look, everything was designed around her. The voice, obviously.
Yeah, clearly.
So it was a good first choice.
Okay.
Because it was an easy character to, we always talk about suspending disbelief, right?
Yeah.
It was a good first character to make that suspension, right? Like you can make the separation, but yet it seems the same.
I was going to say, there's not much separation there, really. Even from what we were just saying, it was clear right from the get-go. That was Bo-Katan,
That was Bo-Katan. There was no doubt.
Jumped right out of the animation and into live action.
But that's what I said. You can, in your head, say, okay, that was animation. This is live action.
Right.
But it was seamless.
Yes.
There was no hiccups there.
Oh, for sure.
And, her age, given the age of the character, everything seemed to line up.
Oh, yeah.
And just not make you question anything.
Right.
I am in absolute awe of how they were able to make that happen.
Yeah, it was definitely good. So
it's something we've wanted to see for a long time, right? We've wanted to see characters from these animated shows that we love.
Oh yeah,
these characters that they introduce in those animated shows make this jump to live action. We wanted to see this crossover. The closest thing we got to that was, you mentioned a Chopper cameo,
right?
And Ahsoka voice showing up in The Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
Those are the closest we've gotten to crossover. I guess we saw the Ghost, right?
Yeah. That's a ship, so that's kind of,
That's an easy fix, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You can make that jump. And I think droids are the same way. You can make that, but a person, a character, a little harder of a jump, but they nailed it.
Yeah.
And not only did they nail it, but they were able to do it with the person who actually voiced the character.
Right. So,
like, even when she pulled the helmet off, it was like, yeah, that's Bo-Katan. There's no issue here.
No, exactly. Yeah, she had clearly had to look.
She looks like her. Obviously she sounds like her because she voiced the damn character.
Right.
But it's like, there is literally nothing to question here.
So, go ahead.
No.
I was just going to say, let's get into the pulling the helmet off thing. So, clearly throughout this show, we've been hearing all about how, once you take it off, you can't put it back on. And we were kind of wondering how they're going to reconcile this with what we've known from all the animated stuff. So here we are, and they clearly had no problem with pulling their helmets off. And as soon as they did, Din Djarin's like, oh, he wants nothing to do with them. So
yeah, you're fake.
Yeah. Where'd you get that armor? It's like, been in my family for a little bit,
Yeah. 3 generations.
Right. So
yeah, I dug that. I dug how there was a break there. He left.
Right.
Stuff happened in the interim, and then they reconvened.
Yes. So
yeah, I really like the way they handled that. And I like that he is part of really what would be considered extremist to them.
Yeah, that's something that was kind of, it's just a little odd, right? So he, you and I were kind of like touching on this before we started recording, but he's basically part of like a religious sect of Mandalorians, right? I mean,
not just a religious sect, but a what would be the word?
Like a traditionalist type?
Extremist.
Okay.
Right. I would say extremist. Like the sect that he's a part of is almost extremist because they go all out.
Right.
To the letter. And that's the way Bo-Katan mentions it. Like they're trying to bring back the old way.
Yeah.
Like they didn't allow for growth.
That's interesting.
Like, times change. Maybe you can take your helmet off.
Well, clearly, because that's the way things had been.
Yeah.
But the part that's really interesting to me is that they're not so concerned with someone being, of Mandalore, okay, coming from that planet. But so long as they abide by the creed.
Right.
So, we have this like separation, this dichotomy of what it is to be a Mandalorian, which is, it's going to make for some interesting stuff moving forward, I think.
Well, it's definitely setting up being a Mandalorian is like a religion.
Yeah.
It's not about where you're from. It's about what you follow.
Right.
It's about your way of life. So that's been hinted at, but it's being solidified. Because here you have people who are from Mandalore. Now, granted, they do obviously see themselves as like, look, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm from Mandalore.
Right.
Because she mentions that. Like,
and when you look at who we're talking about, not only is she from Mandalore, she is like heir apparent to the throne, right? Last we're aware of
again,
her sister, So, yeah, I don't know. That's and you're right again because she did have the Darksaber and was, to lead.
Well, it's a not really a counter, but what would the word be? A compliment almost to the Jedi, because the Jedi have been referred to as a religion, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And now the Mandalorian is kind of being referred to as a religion,
right?
Not necessarily being from Mandalore. You can be a Mandalorian without being from there.
So I'm thinking back to the Ewok Sandcrawler episode. You recall Din Djarin says, "My weapons are part of my religion."
Yeah.
So interesting. This might go deeper than we realized at first. Huh. So they have some sort of similar belief structure as a Jedi does, your lightsaber. This weapon is your life, right?
Now, I gotta ask, does this muddy the waters a little bit when you talk about how Jango and Boba Fett are not Mandalorians?
Absolutely.
If this is a religion and a creed,
well,
more so than being where you're from.
I've been thinking about this ever since we learned that Din Djarin is not from Mandalore. I've been this has been rolling around in my head, but where I was going was what I was suspecting all along is that this is how it is now, not how it was then. But I got a feeling.
I really think we talked about this maybe last episode or the episode before.
Okay.
We talked about how there was talk of true Mandalorians, and the most hardcore of that faith talking about true Mandalorians, and I think those are the ones that referred to him as a imposter.
Okay.
those were Mandalorians from Mandalore,
Right.
referring to true Mandalorians. So true Mandalorians would be people who follow this creed, but are from Mandalore.
Right.
So we may get this roundabout way that now makes Boba and Jango Mandalorians.
Yeah.
They're Mandalorians because of their creed, their religion. But they're not true Mandalorians because they're not from Mandalore.
Right. Interesting.
It is.
But you know, it does what Star Wars does so well, and that is, without getting into some, some soliloquy by some character explaining the whole thing to you that takes a half hour, it makes it all complicated, and complicated enough that it's like
that we can try and solve it here.
Well, yeah, we can do that, but it's almost like it shows that it's an ancient and well-established thing. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
And you don't have to get like I said, some soliloquy backstory from somebody, And like I said, that's one of the things that Star Wars does so well when it's done right.
Well, this show's doing it right.
Absolutely.
They're covering all their bases. Like it's answering as many questions as it's creating.
Yeah.
And then, other way around. It answers questions and then it asks 10 more.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we did have one question that was kind of out there in the open, leading up to this episode, and that was, Sasha Banks going to be Sabine Wren? And I got to say, when they came down and saved Mando, he's like, the child, we got to save the child. She was like, on it. I was like, that's it.
I
That's
was
her.
with you on it. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
It's Sabine
Uh-huh.
in different armor.
And then, much to my surprise,
Not Sabine.
not Sabine. It's like, oh, okay.
Total tease and ripping it away from you just like seconds later.
Yeah. It was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm on it. And diving in, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I was with you. I thought for sure that was Sabine. That was totally Sabine's character, totally the way she did things.
Exactly. Yeah, the mannerisms, all that stuff, like up to that point was like, I was convinced.
I think that was purposeful.
Yeah? You think they did that just to make us go, oh, that's not Sabine.
Well, I think it's done in a way that, okay, the way Sabine did things was not one of a kind.
Oh, okay.
Now, Sabine was one of a kind,
Sure.
but I think her mannerisms and the way she handled herself was very indicative of her
Yeah.
upbringing.
It makes, okay, so what you're saying makes sense. It's almost to prove out that, some of our, I don't want to say complaints, but criticism of, how good she was in Rebels isn't like overstated.
No, it's her upbringing.
Yeah, it's like really any Mandalorian could have been like this.
Yeah, they have no fear.
Right.
When it comes to jumping in harm's way, they're not scared of it.
Right.
And I think that's what this was meant to convey.
I like that. I like that train of thought because, just like Bo-Katan shows up and it is like, that is clearly Bo-Katan, all the way up until Sasha Banks pulls the helmet off and it's like, whoa, wait. That is not Sabine. I was thinking, this has got to be her. It's got to be Sabine. So,
and think about the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah.
Think about the Bo-Katan character and who Bo-Katan surrounded herself with. These were not characters that were fearful.
Oh, no, clearly not.
Every character that ever stood beside her was fearless.
Right.
Strong. Even the ancillary characters that never really were named for you, they were all willing to go all the way.
True.
So, and then you see the connection that Sabine ended up having with Bo-Katan at the end. You see why they had that connection, because there was no reservation, right?
Right.
Both characters were willing to do whatever it took for the sake of Mandalore.
And that was what was clear from character Sabine. She was doing what was best for Mandalore by giving the Darksaber to Bo-Katan. Right? I mean, that was, if she wanted to, she probably could have held on to that thing and been like, all right, I'm it. But
right, which at the time some talked about it as a sign of weakness, right?
Right.
Like, why would she give it up? Why wouldn't she just lead? No, she knew what the best path was.
Right. She knew she wasn't ready for that at that time.
Right. And hell, she probably even knew that if it came down to one-on-one combat between her and Bo-Katan, she might lose.
It's possible.
Because that's another, another part of the way, right?
Right, exactly.
We saw that in the Clone Wars.
Right.
Challenging people to single combat.
Yep.
So Sabine just saw it better to give it to the person who she thought was best to lead Mandalore.
Right. This is interesting stuff. They've done a lot of thinking about the Mandalorian stuff here, which I like, because this is how do you put it? It's it's always been thought of as like this really deep culture, but we've not, aside from the Clone Wars and Rebels, we haven't gotten a whole much of a taste of it, which that delves into it, but not quite like this is. I think I see this playing into what we've seen in Clone Wars and Rebels to make this a really, really fleshed out, deep culture,
Well, they've definitely done a good job of showing that there's more than meets the eye.
Exactly.
Okay, we've established this is a Mandalorian, but wait, it goes deeper than that.
Right. Yes. So I just want to bring up, because I just just occurred to me and I'm thinking about it. When you think about Cobb Vanth, he was just a guy in the armor.
Right.
We have Din Djarin, who's living a creed. And now we have Mandalorians from Mandalore.
Yeah, true Mandalorian.
Exactly. Right. And every step along the way, it is different. Man, I'm liking this.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a name, right? Mandalorian.
Yeah.
This is a name that has been legendary.
Oh, yeah.
In all of Star Wars, from the films to the books to the animated series. It's a legendary title to be a Mandalorian. And well, so far they're living up to it, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
This is deep. It isn't so simple as, oh, you're from a planet.
Right.
It's not that simple. And Bo-Katan acknowledges that at the end of this episode.
Yeah.
You know, they share that moment. This is the way.
Right.
So you have a true Mandalorian. And this is a character on top of that probably wouldn't have been receptive to any kind of outsider early on in her development.
Right.
With the Death Watch.
Yep.
But now that creed is everything, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No matter where you're from.
So, all right. Something
And
else.
didn't even prove himself by helping them along the way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Even though he says, that planet's a death trap.
Right. What I want to touch on though is the planet Mandalore, right? So they're trying to hijack this freighter and seize these weapons to take it back. We can only assume that the Empire has a stronghold there still.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, this is a fragment of the Empire, right? Or maybe it's the bulk of what's left, but still in control there. They're clearly hijacking an Imperial freighter, not necessarily like a New Republic one or anything. Yeah, and I'm wondering if we're gonna go down that road. Are they, they're very independent to begin with, but are they, are they going to choose a side, or have they chosen a side, or they're on their own side?
I think they're on their own side. I think you're absolutely right. The Empire still has a tight grip on Mandalore.
Right.
I think if the Republic were exerting its hand on Mandalore, they would be resistant to that.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't matter who it was. Yeah.
No, don't matter.
And I think it's evidence to us pretty clearly from the prior episode that the New Republic really doesn't have the resources to go help planets like Mandalore that are still in the clutches of the fragments of the Empire. Because what did the pilot Carson say? Carson, right? I think. These are trying times, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when they let Din go. So, interesting.
Yeah, well, they acknowledge the fact that he wasn't an enemy.
Right. Well,
he may be indifferent, but he's not an enemy.
Well, he did help break out the one prisoner, but he apprehended 3 and tried to intervene.
Well, yeah, he's obviously empathetic.
Yes, so that's what they were kind of talking about. So, yeah, I know this is all last episode, but they're not like the Imperial. There would be no excuse. You're done, right? And I think it's just a testament to the New Republic just not having the resources, like it's something that under normal times it would be a big enough crime for us to like pursue, but right now it's just not. So yeah. And that kind of lines up with them not being able to help out a planet like Mandalore at this time. So,
right. So I do have another quick question for you, and just your thoughts on this. The desire for Beskar.
Oh yeah.
From outsiders.
Uh-huh.
What do you think of that? Like it's really wild because we've talked about Mandalorians in the past and we've seen stuff with Mandalorians in the past, but we've never seen this kind of desire for what kind of value their armor carried.
Right.
So once again in this episode, he's trying, people are trying to capture him just for his Beskar. And it was mentioned, way back in, what was it, episode 2 or 3?
Well, in the
when
pilot,
the armor said, this will draw many eyes.
Oh yeah, there's that. But in the pilot episode in the bar, that thug asked him, "Is that Beskar?" They don't necessarily say why he's asking, but he's asking, and it is used as payment, for the job. Right. So, it's clear at that point anyway that it has become some sort of a commodity. When you think about it, it's just like gold or silver, for us, it's something that doesn't change very much as far as currencies go, and way back when, he's negotiating with Grief Karga, he's like, oh, those are Imperial credits, they still spend. And they talk about how much that'll buy, and it's, that won't even pay for fuel. Then I got calamari flan, which it looks like he used to pay for some information in this episode. So,
right.
That it's kind of the same way. I think the Beskar is kind of like, because of its properties and its ability to do what it does as an armor, probably holds some sort of a stable value.
What do you think its value is outside of armor?
That I don't know, because
I was just,
but as I was watching the episode, right, and we're watching Din Djarin just storm down that hallway against those stormtroopers, and I was thinking, man, the Empire had a whole bunch of this stuff, right, from the Great Purge. Why didn't they start making like some elite group of stormtroopers in Beskar? Why didn't we see something like that?
Or did they?
Maybe they did, but thus far we haven't gotten a chance to see it. But if they had that much of it, just kind of makes you wonder.
Well, have we got an explanation as to the style of armor as oh wow, why is the name slipping me? Phasma.
Why she's got the chrome armor?
Yeah.
In the book, yeah. In the book Phasma. Yes.
Did they explain that?
Yes. And that is, she forged that armor from remnants of Palpatine's ship he had from Naboo. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the chrome hulled ships that they had in Naboo.
Beskar would have been cooler.
Yeah, well, if she had Beskar on, I don't think Finn would have been able to crush the helmet the way he did. So, But
Yeah, but did it crush the helmet or just the visor part of the helmet?
I don't know. I don't know. Don't get technical with me.
Hey, I'm just saying. Why I threw it out there. I didn't read Phasma, so
Right.
I should have, but I didn't.
So, I don't know. All I have to say about this episode is that this one had me on the edge of my seat the whole time. I was like really, really happy with what they did with Bo-Katan. And maybe there's a little bit of me that was disappointed not to see Sabine, but forgivable for sure. Because everything I've seen so far of these characters is awesome. And kind of surprised that they just threw Ahsoka's name out there like they did.
Okay, you walked right into what I was just going to ask.
Okay.
I was just going to ask, like, how about that name drop? I mean, could you set up future episodes any more clearly?
I know.
So if there was any question on whether Ahsoka Tano is going to show up in this series,
we can now say confirmed.
it is going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And my jaw hit the floor for that scene.
Yeah, me too.
You know, you'll find Ahsoka Tano there. I'm like, really?
I know.
That's how you're going to do this?
Yeah, and where? Someplace we've never heard of.
Yeah.
City of Caladan, the fourth planet of Corvus. It's like, all right. Don't know where that's at, but
yeah, just hearing the name Ahsoka Tano
oh yeah.
and said so, like, this is where you'll find this person.
Right.
And by the way, her name's Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap. Did they just do this?
Oh, they did that.
They did that. That was unexpected. And in all honesty, probably the most unexpected way they could have done that.
Yeah. I don't know. We're still going to have the visual reveal and all of that coming up, but
right. But they took everything you thought was going to be a surprise.
Right.
And said, nah, we're just going to name drop her right now.
Right. Which makes you wonder, what are they going to do that is, for instance, like the end of the pilot episode, we had oh my gosh, it's a baby Yoda, right? We're going to have something, I'm sure, that is going to be of that magnitude.
Okay, I'm going to apologize for my language in advance.
Uh-oh.
It's not going to be that bad.
Okay.
But if you look back at our previous conversations, you almost got to wonder if the holy shit moment is going to be Ezra Bridger.
Oh, it could be.
Like, it was after they just casually said Ahsoka Tano.
Right.
Then I was like, well, maybe Ezra Bridger is a thing.
It could be.
Because where's the shock value going to come in this season? I thought that would be Ahsoka. That shock was going to be Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of just did that.
Right. It's kind of
like, okay, you're going to have the reveal and everything, but the shock is dampened.
Right. But you were just dealt a hand and you just showed it to the whole table, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm with you there.
I mean, the only time I do that is when I'm playing cards at bowling and I'm like, hey, 4 aces, guys.
Yeah.
And they're like, come on, Joe.
But I don't know. I wonder, man. Wow. I just had a thought.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, there's been talk of Ezra and Thrawn, right? It's like, what if Ezra and Thrawn have become buddies? Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know about that, but while you were saying that, I thought of another outlandish rumor.
Okay.
This was outlandish. Didn't think this was a possibility. But, man, what do you think of Luke Skywalker showing up?
Oh, it ain't gonna happen. I don't think so. We talked about that too. I don't think that'll happen.
I understand what you're saying, but the way they just did this, what's going to be your, like, whoa moment?
Well, that's what I was getting to. Like, Ezra.
I think Ezra and Thrawn be less of a whoa moment.
Well, yeah, but I mean, God, if they were to pull off Luke Skywalker somehow, movie making as we know it has changed forever. I mean, in some ways, I believe it has. I don't know if they've gotten that far yet. Might be close.
I don't think they'd go that crazy, though. I think they'd use the crate Luke Skywalker.
Really?
Something similar.
I don't know. It's just not that.
I know it's not that far along.
Right. This is closer to Return of the Jedi than crate Luke.
Or they do something like they do that Luke Leia training scene. I mean, they only have to do it for a minute.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
With what we've seen out of the volume and all the things they've been able to do in this series so far.
Yeah. I mean, the volume
wouldn't be that surprised.
The
at
volume
this point
is more about environment and
like I said, we talked about the Luke Skywalker thing, and I said it was total BS.
Uh-huh.
But after the casual Ahsoka Tano name drop, I'm like, I don't know. Something's got to. And maybe this is just me being too used to modern storytelling. There's got to be a whoa moment, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've had one already with Boba Fett. However big of a whoa moment that was, it was a whoa moment.
It was a whoa moment. I'll give you that.
And then, now we've had another with Bo-Katan. And she let the Ahsoka cat out of the bag.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, the whoa moment's always at the end. And if everything we've seen is not the whoa moment, how big is that going to be?
Well,
I'm not saying I want to see it.
Okay. Here we go. All right. We are in speculation town here.
That's where we've been.
Yeah, I'm saying we're driving downtown in speculation town.
Yes.
So
this is where we're going to be completely wrong.
Yes. So you just got me thinking, right? So what's going to be the big moment? And I'm thinking, okay, we know we got Ahsoka. Giancarlo Esposito's been talking all summer long about lightsaber battles and how many dark sabers he's broken and how awesome that's going to be. And we're thinking all along, okay, well, the big rumor was Ahsoka. She's going to, so they're going to fight. What if Moff Gideon is good enough somehow, some way, or has a way to kind of trap Ahsoka, and then we bring in what you just talked about with Luke for just a brief, ever so brief cameo to take out Moff Gideon, maybe, or get Ahsoka released or save her or whatever. and then he's gone. You know, it would have to be brief. I mean, but you know, if it took maybe the both of them to take down Gideon, you know, and he's like the very last second.
Well, actually, you just kind of put me on what could be the whoa moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, no.
Oh,
I'm going to expand and subtract from what you said.
okay.
Take Luke Skywalker out of it.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I went like, oh, that would be crazy.
Yeah.
But what if Moff Gideon defeats Ahsoka Tano?
Oh, stop it.
What if that is the aha moment?
Stop.
The whoa moment.
Man, even just entertaining that notion's breaking my heart already.
Oh, I'm with you.
Oh, you said it and my stomach turned. I don't know if I could handle it.
I'm with you, but okay, we had this moment in The Rise of Skywalker where Ahsoka spoke to Rey
Yeah.
alongside all the Jedi who have passed.
Yeah.
What if this is her moment?
Oh God, dude. Oh, that would be twice for that character. 3 times. No, that would be 3 times. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right. Now I'm depressed. Way to end the show, Joe.
I didn't mean to depress you.
Oh.
I mean, I don't want to see that.
Right.
Let's just put that out there, but it would be shocking.
Oh, it sure would. It sure would. And I think Filoni and Favreau are quoted as saying the second season is going to be like their Empire Strikes Back of the series, kind of, you know, which makes you think, oh, something bad's got to happen. Wow.
And like you just said, Giancarlo Esposito talked about this epic battle.
Yeah.
And he talked about it very happy, like he wasn't on the losing side.
You know, that is true. You know, I just thought he was a happy guy, but man, I think I got a feeling he's all smiles because he came out the victor now. Oh, man, let's hope we're wrong.
End, it'll be Bo-Katan that gets him.
Yeah?
But not before he gets Ahsoka.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh,
I really hope I am way wrong. Which, on the plus side, I'm usually wrong.
yeah, this is true.
So, it was that name drop that just put me down this, like, what's going to be the whoa moment?
Right.
Because that wasn't it. That was a very casual, hey, there's this person.
Right. Huh.
Well, this show doesn't fail to disappoint. Or doesn't fail to disappoint. Doesn't fail to
impress.
I meant to say doesn't disappoint.
Right.
Well, so it doesn't fail to impress us. It never disappoints.
I will say that that's one thing about Star Wars is it has its ups and downs, and you do have some loss of your major characters from time to time. So, man, this is a very real speculation we got going on here. Like it could actually happen. So
could happen. We hope it don't.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, with all of our hearts, we hope it don't, because God, we love this character.
Yeah.
I mean, and if something like this became a possibility, like it looked like it was going to happen, I feel like Hondo would come in and saved the day
Yeah, sure. Or maybe he
on
wouldn't.
accident.
Ooh, look, Beskar. Yeah.
Still holding out for Hondo.
Yeah.
But this show doesn't disappoint. It's been fantastic. This episode, Bryce Dallas Howard brought her A game.
Absolutely.
So she was not going to be overshadowed again, right?
Right.
Like she brought a good episode last season, but we were like, wow, Deborah Chow.
Yeah, yeah.
And it seems like this season she was like,
Yeah, exactly.
not this time.
Right.
So yeah, she brought it and we love it.
For sure.
Great episode. Wall to wall action. And just fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, if you have anything to add to that, you can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. Let us know that we're batshit crazy.
Nice.
We're also on social media at The Wars and More on Twitter, Facebook.com/TheWarsandMore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I can't think about anything right now. So
All right. We will talk next week.